I apologize, I keep having technical difficulties on these, so I'm sorry you guys have to watch it in so many parts. But on this one, you should have gotten the answers. Here is where it's at this point where it's crossing through is at 0, -3. That's one of the solutions, and the other one is at 4, 5. Now for the rest of these, I'm fine if you do what I'm about to show you how to do with graphing in the calculator and just copying your graph down on here. I just wanted to make sure I spent time reviewing by hand how to do it. So on your practice, you do have tables provided, so you don't have to do all this scratch over to the side like I did. That's fine. You can use those. You don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm going to show you what to do here with a graph. With doing it in your calculator, and this is only with the graphing calculator, so an 84 and 83, and you can share with someone when you get to the practice, but I'm going to show you how you can do this to speed some things up for yourselves. But just so you know, when you take the test next week, you will be expected to be able to graph by hand, so doing it in a table, doing what I just did, but I'm showing you this, and that'll be on a non-calculator part. I'm just showing you guys this way to make your lives a little bit easier. So we need to do y equals -x squared minus 4x plus 1 and y equals 5. So I'm going to click y equals right here, this first button, this very first one. And if there's anything there, make sure you clear it out. Otherwise, you can go ahead and start typing out your equation. So it was -x squared. So I'm going to hit the negative button, which is down here on the bottom. And then to get the x, there's this special little button here that says x, and it's got tau, theta, and n. Don't worry about those. Just type it, and it'll give you the x automatically. So if you see that, it automatically gave me x. Okay, and we need -x squared. The squared button is right here. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me squared. Then it's minus 4x. So minus 4. Push this x button again. And then plus 1. Okay, and I can hit this graph button right here, and it's going to show me what that parabola should look like. Now, I don't recommend trying to directly look at this and then copy it down over here. You're going to have a hard time trying to figure out, because if you notice, it's not a nice little grid. It's just got little hash marks. So what I would do is look at its table and then just copy the points down. So you're going to be able to look at the table, you have to hit this second button, this blue button. Hit that, and then hit graph again. When you do that, you're going to see a table. So make sure you get in some reasonable ranges, because our graph here is only from -5 to 5. And that's for the x values. So you could start at -5. You see that the y is supposed to be at -4. So why don't we start by plotting that if I'm doing this first parabola here. So doing this first one, when x is at -5, y is at -4. So I already kind of started writing an answer over top of that, and that's okay. My second value is when x is -4, y is 1. So when x is -4, y is going to be 1. When x is -3, y is going to be 4. So when x is -3, y is all the way up at 4. When x is -2, so when x is -2, y is at 5. So when x is -2, y is all the way up at 5. When x is at -1, y is at 4. So at -1, I'm at 4. So now it's starting to be symmetrical. So I can already see it's going to repeat. So when I'm at 0, I'm going to be at 1. So when I'm at 0, I'm at 1. And then when I'm at 1, so when I'm at 1, I'm at -4. So 1 is at -4. And if I kept going here on this graph, it's stuff I can't actually put on my graph itself. -11, -20, -31. We can't graph those. So we're just going to ignore those. So that makes my nice pretty parabola I just saw on my graph, and we know it matches up. It looked very similar, right? We can regraph it. Looks very similar there, which is exactly what I want. So there it is, and that's what we got. So then the other line, I would expect you don't need a calculator for this, but you could check it with saying, okay, y equals 5. Well, you go up to 5 on the y-axis and make a horizontal line. And so we could check that here in my calculator. So hit y equals again. So this button right here, y equals again. Go over to the second line, so scroll down to it and put 5. And hit graph again, and you'll see what it looks like. So that looks pretty on par with what I have, that it's crossing through it just that one time at the top. Okay, so just that one time. And if I check that here, that point, so that solution is at -2, 5. So that would be my answer for this one. Okay, so we've got one more left, so we can do this the same way. We can put it in the calculator. So you go to y equals. You're going to have to hit clear for both lines. So scroll down to both lines and hit clear. Go back up to the first one. My equation this time is x squared, so hit the x button, this guy. Hit the squared button, which is this guy. And then -2, hit the x button again. And then +4. So I can graph that, and I can look at my nice little pretty parabola. There's what it's supposed to look like. So we're going to go to the table, hit second, hit graph again, and I can look at my table of values. So at -5, I'm at 39. We can't plot that. At -4, I'm at 28. We can't plot that. At -3, I'm at 19. Can't plot that. When I'm at -2, I'm at 12. Can't plot that either. When I'm at -1, I'm at 7. Well, like I said, this is a 5 by 5, so we can't even plot that one. However, when I'm at 0, I'm all the way up at 4, so we can graph that. When I'm at 0, I'm at 4, so we can plot that point. When I'm at 1, I'm at 3. So when I'm at 1, I'm up at 3. When I'm at 2, I'm at 4. And then it repeats after that. So when I'm at 3, I'm at 7, and then 12 and 19 again. So we can't even do anything further than that. Okay. My second equation is y equals x minus 1. So it has a y-intercept. Oops, I've just plotted the wrong thing. Ignore that. So we have a y-intercept at -1. So we're down here at -1. And then we have a slope of up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. So if you see, these guys are never going to cross. So that means my answer should be no solution. Now, if you ever feel like, I'm not sure if I graphed this good enough, and then I can see what my answer is well enough, I'll show you a nice little thing to check your work, only to check it, okay? So I'm going to redo this one. So -x squared minus 4x plus 1 was the first equation, and 5 was the second one. So when I regraph it, here's my nice little pretty graph, right? So there's the first parabola, here comes the line. If I wanted to see exactly where that was to check my work and make sure I did this right, what you can do is you can hit this second button and then hit this trace button here at the top. So when I do that, look at my options. Value, 0, minimum, maximum, intersect. Ooh, that might be a good one. So you can select intersect, so just hit enter. Okay, and now it starts asking me all this weird stuff and has like these blinky things. So it says first curve. So whenever you're trying to pick the first curve, you want to start on the left. Okay, you can select anywhere. I could be right here, I could be down here, doesn't matter. Just need to be somewhere where I'm obviously on the left side of whether it was the line or it was the parabola. So just somewhere on the left. Okay, now here I'm still on the left of this line to where that intersection is. I just need to be somewhere on the right. So I'm just going to scroll over towards the right where I'm past that point of intersection. Hit enter again. And then it says guess, so just hit enter one more time. And then now it tells me, and it gives me, it's trying to do some weird rounding here. So that's a fault on my calculator. But here it's telling me x is at -2 and y is at 5. Is that what we got here? X is at -2 and y is at 5? Oh my gosh, it is. So this is something you can do to check your work when you're going through the practice, especially with me not being there. So use this only as a tool to help you, because you will have to do something like this where you won't have the calculator to support you. So that's it for the notes for today. If you have questions on the practice, please, please, please message me through Remind. Today is a crazy day for competition-wise, but I will do my best to respond to you guys. But that is my Remind again, so please join it if you have not already. Otherwise, you'll see me in the next video tomorrow, so hope you guys have a good rest of your day.